In September of 1995, the PlayStation 1 was released in North America, and it came out with some really cool games like Crash Bandicoot and Tomb Raider. But one game that was released a few months later in November 1995 was the game called Twisted Metal. Released by Sony Computer Interactive America and SingleTrac, the game is, well, quite different than others I've played. But this game right here is where you play as one of 12 drivers, and what you do is you basically go up against each other, destroy each other, and the last one survive wins. And there's 6 levels in the game that you have to complete and survive in them as well. But that's the whole point of why I wanted to make this my 140th and 141st platinum. But we're not talking about platinums today, you guys. Today we are actually going to be talking about Twisted Metal. And, of course, it being the Retro Classic series, I figured I'd bring you guys some information about this game and what you do also. So in today's video, we're going to have a bit of fun. So let's go ahead and get started with the video. Before we get started with today's video, you guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more coming videos. Alright guys, so welcome to my Retro Classic series where I talk about games from my childhood. So if you guys just joined in my channel Red TV Plays, I want to give you guys a big thank you for joining in. So without further ado, let's get started with this video, you guys. So Twisted Metal was a really good game to play. The only complaint I had with this game when I was playing it was the controls a little bit. They were a little bit iffy here and there, but I had a lot of fun destroying other vehicles and all that stuff. And there's even these little red guys that pops up in each level, and they shoot you with a rocket launcher or a laser gun or something. So you end up running them over and they scream like crazy, and that would end up making me laugh so hard. But yeah, when I got my PlayStation 1 back in 1998, I was only about 7 years old at the time. I got a Super Nintendo a year before when I was 6 years old. And then a year later, I decided to get a PlayStation 1 from my local pawn shop. So I ended up finding one for about 40 bucks, and it was in good condition and everything. So my very first game was Spyro the Dragon, and then I eventually got Twisted Metal. But what happened the following, like 2 years later, somebody stole my copy of Twisted Metal, and it ended up being really hard to replace. And since then, I was never able to find another copy of Twisted Metal because I had no access to internet. I couldn't. I would have had to go to a neighbor's house, use their computer, rebuy the game all over again, and so on. But at the time, it was kind of hard trying to refund the game because I don't have very many game stores in my city. But other than that, it was still worth playing. So the whole gameplay of Twisted Metal is surviving. So you're playing, there's these power-ups that you can pick up, and they go from like fire missiles to homing missiles to freeze missiles. There's also ground stuff like mines, and there's even ones that will make vehicles like jump up in the air and stuff like that. And there's even these little like tack looking things, like they'll explode on the enemies and stuff like that when they run over them. But yeah, there's like different types of weapons that you can find and stuff like that. But yeah, one of the other good things about Twisted Metal is that on the radar above, on the left side of, like on the top left of the screen, there's a radar, and it will show you the enemies, and each one of them are color coded by their cars. So when you advance into the game and you keep on winning, I'll just say it like that, you keep on winning, there's these, it will get a little bit more tougher. So the last level being Rooftop Rumble, it is pretty hard because you're going up against this tank and stuff, and you have to beat him. And then right afterwards you get to meet Calypso. So right after you beat the last level, Calypso is this guy right here, and depending on what each character wants and stuff, you'll end up earning what they want and stuff. So when they came out with on the PS4 and 5 versions, yeah, they added trophies to the game, and every time you beat the last level, they get their certain type of they get their certain type of like item that they want, and you get the trophy for it. But since I was recording this via PS1, I don't have access to the trophies, but I do have the clips of what I'm showing right now. So here are all 12 of the characters here. There's Roadkill, Spectre, Sweet Tooth. You can check out their background. It will also show like their strengths and weaknesses, like their special weapon power, speed, handling, and armor. Roadkill is actually a pretty good character to play as. He is really fun to play, and so yeah, that's basically what you have to do in the game. It's just survive until you reach the last level, and then defeat the tank. They call it a Twisted Metal contest in the game. So right after you beat the game and meet Calypso, that's it. And then you keep playing different characters, try them out, so on and so forth. I mean, pretty fun in a lot of ways. If I have to give some advice on beating the last enemy, there is an area where you can actually blow up, which is in shape of a pyramid on the rooftop area. So you can actually go down there, and there's like this little area that will lead you to the other side. And then when you climb up both of the areas, there's like this, how do you say it, you can jump from rooftop to rooftop. And then the tank can go over the building, and since tanks can't jump, they can't like literally go from roof to roof and all that, so the tank will go over the edge and it will lose some of its health each time. So I wish I had a clip to show you what I'm talking about, but I guess sadly I don't. I never come prepared for these videos sometimes, but I'll have to show you next time when I bring up a trophy video or something, but you'll see what I'm talking about. So there are some cheats that you can use in the game as well. You can look them up on IGN and all that stuff, but there are different types of cheats that you can use. Like you can load up a level with cheats. You can also do unlimited ammo. You can do invincibility, but just a warning to you guys, if you are playing on the PS4 and 5 version, that specific cheat will disable trophies. So the very first thing you're going to have to do before you do absolutely anything is do at least one full playthrough by doing all the levels, defeating all the opponents and so on. And then when you make it to the last level and defeat Minion there, then you can start working on beating the game and stuff. However, you do have to get all 12 characters trophies and stuff. So that's basically how you do it on that. So I know I'm not talking about trophy guides and everything, but I just wanted to give some of you guys a little bit of advice. But apart from Twisted Metal, there was a Twisted Metal 2, 3, 4, and so on. But there was other Twisted Metal games out there, as I mentioned, and sadly I didn't get to experience them all. All I had was the first game. But next game I am going to be doing is Twisted Metal 2. I finally got the game, so I'm going to be playing that next up. So next video should be sometime around a week and a half. I'll let you all know on my channel post, so be sure to check that out as well. So other than that, you guys, Twisted Metal is a pretty good game overall, and it may have its problems here and there. I did run into some glitches where it would freeze on me a little bit. Even when I was in the pause menu, I couldn't unpause for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah. But there's a lot in this game. I mean, you can just play each character and decide who you want to be. You can kill the enemies any way you want to. You can drive around, check out the each level and stuff like that. But if I had to say one of my favorite levels that I liked, it was called a Freeway Ride or something like that. But yeah, other than that, the game was just really fun, and some of the special effects and the way that the game looks is pretty cool. The explosions, the fire effects in this game, pretty good for a PS1 game, and I bet Twisted Metal 2 is even 2 times better. But many people have told me that this game is a lot harder than the first game. But I'm alright with that. I love a good challenge. So yeah, I'll be playing this game, and then I'll be uploading a video on this. So just be patient on that, guys. But other than that, Twisted Metal, I'd give this game at least a 8.5 out of 10 on fun. Now, if you guys want to know some more information on the trophies, there are 31 trophies in total. Okay? And other than that, the game isn't that hard. It took me around 8 hours to complete. So other than that, if you guys are playing the PS4 or 5 version, or you're doing both of them like I did, it's still an amazing game. There is no story to this game, no cutscenes, none of that stuff. And I love a game with cutscenes, but I kind of get that this game's is close to 30 years old, and well, I guess it is what it is. But other than that, still worth playing and stuff. And if you guys like games like this, I highly recommend it. Getting it for your PS1 or playing it through the PS Plus Premium Extra package and all that. But yeah, I mean, Twisted Metal may not be a perfect game, but it's a pretty good game when you really get into it. One of my favorite, you guys will probably be asking me this, what is your favorite power-up to use in the game? Well, if there were 3 power-ups that I like to use in a game, number 1 is the turbo. You can literally jump over rooftops, and you can actually use the nitrous to ram into other enemies. I mean, it really works, honestly. But you also have to be aware of your health, and that's another thing I need to mention. So on your radar in each level, there will be these blinking white X's on your radar. Be sure to go to them and heal every time that your health is low. Because if you don't heal, then you're just going to blow up. And then you'll lose a life. So each life that you lose, well, if you're on your last life and you die, then you have to restart the whole entire game all over again. And that's what's sad about it, honestly, because if you're not careful, then that's it. But you can use cheats to go back to that same level. You don't have to worry about restarting over again. And I really do like that, honestly. I just wish that you could use the invincibility cheat, but sadly it disables the trophies on PS4 and 5. So, other than that, I mean, it would have been cool to see how this game would have been on Xbox, but sadly, I don't think it ever got released on Xbox except maybe the remake of the game. But other than that, these games were really a lot of fun. And, well, whenever I do Twisted Metal 2, it is going to be a challenge because there will be 8 stages in the game rather than the 6. And then there's a whole bunch of different trophies that I have to do and stuff. But as I mentioned, you guys, it's going to be a bit of a challenge, and it is going to be a lot harder from there. But in the end, all I got to say is these 2 things. Number 1, try this game. Buy the game on PS1. If you don't have a PS1, then get a PS1. If you don't want to get a PS1, then get the games on PS Store. You won't regret it, and you'd probably save money that way. But anyway, guys, Twisted Metal. In the end, Twisted Metal became a really good game on PlayStation 1, and it still stays to my memory to this very day because I also played this with my brother back then, and we had a blast playing it together, and it was just a lot of fun being able to play this again and still have the memories of my childhood still stuck in me. Now, when I do Twisted Metal 2, and I borrowed the game also. I borrowed the game from a friend. I borrowed both of the Twisted Metal games to do this video tonight because I wanted to make sure that I wanted to show you all how this game affected my childhood, and I just loved every minute of it. I still remember my very first game. I still remember getting my very first console, and so on. And getting a PlayStation 1 was also a great thing that happened to me in my life, and I never, ever regret it to this very day. I even play my PS1 still to this very day. I've had it ever since 1998, so over 25 years I've had my PS1, and I still have my PS2, and it's still going to this day. So thank you all so much for tuning into my channel. Be sure to like, subscribe for more upcoming videos, and thank you for joining my Retro Classic series. See you next time on Red TV Plays.